Welcome to Once Upon a Podcast. Today's story is Little Red Riding Hood, adapted from Charles Perrault's classic fairy tale. Voices by Hallie Mazurkiewicz and LeBritton. Once upon a time there lived a sweet little girl. Everyone who met her loved her, but her grandmother loved her most of all. Her grandmother made her a riding hood made of red velvet. She wore it everywhere, and soon everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day, after baking some fresh honey cakes, Little Red Riding Hood's mother called her to her side.
Little Red, your grandmother is ill and weak. Bring her a cake and this little pot of butter. But hurry, my dear. Don't be caught in the woods after dark. It's too dangerous.
So Little Red Riding Hood set out towards her grandmother's house in the next village. She held tightly to her basket and walked quickly down the dark forest path. The sun was setting. The sweet aroma of Mother's piping hot honey cakes wafted out of Little Red's basket. She took a deep breath in, licking her lips at the mouth-watering scent. But someone else was sniffing too. A devious wolf stopped Little Red in the middle of the path. But she was not afraid, for he seemed friendly.
Good day, little girl. Where are you going?
To Granny's, said Little Red.
Oh, what do you have in your basket that smells so delicious?
Some cake and butter. Granny is sick and weak. This will help her feel better.
Oh my, what a sweet little girl you are. Have you got a long walk? Just where does Granny live?
About 15 minutes down the road, by the 3 giant oaks. Do you know the place?
Oh, of course.
Well, I really must be going now. I can't be in the forest after dark. It's not safe, you know. The wolf licked his chops. He thought about what a tasty meal Little Red would make, but he knew he had to play a cunning trick.
Don't be silly. You can't go to Granny's house like that.
Why, whatever do you mean, kind Mr. Wolf?
You have no flowers for your Granny. There's a wild rose bush up ahead. You must pick some flowers for your Granny. Take your time. Everyone knows Granny's like lots of flowers.
So Little Red went to pick some flowers, and the wolf ran as fast as he could to the house near the 3 giant oaks. He knocked. Who is it? Granny called from within.
It's Little Red,
said the wolf.
I've come to bring you cake and butter.
Come in, dear. I am too weak to get up. Lift the latch and let yourself in.
The wolf did as Granny said and walked into the little cottage. There was Granny, feeling quite weak and ill. She was lying in bed under a pile of blankets. The wolf jumped onto the bed and gobbled up Granny in a single swallow. He knew that Little Red Riding Hood would be arriving soon, so he wasted no time. He put on Grandma's clothes and a frilly lace cap. He covered himself as much as he could with the blankets and lay on Grandma's bed pretending to be Grandma. Now it was nearly dark, and Little Red arrived at Granny's with her basket and a big bouquet of roses. Little Red knocked.
Who is it?
said the wolf. It's me, Granny, Little Red.
Come in, dear. I'm too weak to get up.
Lift the latch and let yourself in.
So Little Red let herself in and went over to Granny and gave her a hug.
My Granny, you look very different today. You must be really ill.
Oh, yes. Very, very ill.
My Granny, what big ears you have.
All the better to hear you with, my dear.
My Granny, what big eyes you have.
All the better to see you with, my dear.
My Granny, what a big nose you have.
All the better to smell you with, my dear.
My Granny, what hairy skin you have.
Huh, can't win 'em all.
What, Granny?
Nothing, dear, nothing.
Oh, my Granny, what big teeth you have.
All the better to eat you with, my dear.
The wolf jumped out from under the blankets and gobbled up Little Red Riding Hood, Red Cape, and all in a single swallow. After his big meal, the wolf felt very, very full and sleepy. He started to snore. Meanwhile, inside the wolf's belly, Granny and Little Red devised a plan. They kicked their feet and kicked until, all of a sudden, the wolf said,
Uh-oh, indigestion.
The wolf let out a giant, and out tumbled Granny and Little Red. They hugged and kissed and rejoiced and danced the two-step. The wolf became a vegetarian. The end.